Salam, this is Joan. The tape is covering progress on my October prayers and has to do with how praying affects environment, reactions to circumstances is what I found out it was doing. For instance, if someone was hassling me before prayer, the way that I communicated wasn't as well as afterwards. I'm also going to be covering the election here in the United States, which is November 5th, and I'm going to start with a prayer. Allah, thank you for the blessings of this great nation. We pray for our current leaders and the candidates running for office in city, state, and federal areas. We pray you guide them and assist their decisions. Strengthen each leader with resolve to do what is best for us. Give them your wisdom and discernment as they lead. And I thought the biggest issue is kind of if we are really practicing in God we trust, and then categories that need attention in the nation being crime, growing poverty, and outrageous prices. We, as Muslims, we pray 5 times a day. And I thought I'd mention a little bit about what that is about. Fajr has to do with atheism being exposed to belief, how it affects it, and what God does to handle it. The doer prayer prevents sin. It's our actions actively in that area. Azur has us review what deeds we're doing each day. Maghrib is having us remember not to get sidetracked by other philosophies that might seem more appealing, such as intellectualism. And Isha has to do with making the evening into dawn holy. And then I wanted to mention in the Quran, in a book called Maidah, verse 55, it says that a good leader believes in God, has faith, prays, financially supports other believers, and keeps the laws of God. So in the upcoming election, we have Trump and Harris, and I was studying them. I did also note there's about 7 issues, and I felt that maybe classes even needed to be made on the internet that are free, covering each issue, making sure the public understands exactly what it is, and there's no error when they vote. For instance, the first issue has to do with the election of school board members, and it's talking about terms, partisan and non, so I learned a little bit about that. The second issue has to do with the right to fish and hunt, and I thought, well, don't we already have that? What is it talking about? And then it wanted to mention that they want to discuss whether it's really in the hands of the people or whether organizations should dictate, that being the Wildlife Commission. The third issue has to do with legalizing pot to be used recreationally above the age of 21. The fourth issue is abortion, whether you're for or against it. The sixth issue, that's when I started researching what they were actually talking about. And does it mean that a no vote removes financial monitoring of voting funds? The seventh issue, where is it? what did it say? Oh, I'm trying to find it real fast. Funds for candidates, where they come from. They can come from political groups, from corporations, from the candidate themselves, and it was asking whether we wanted it removed from the public being able to affect it. So that was an interesting one. Then I went ahead and I have my voting figured out. I just need to drop it in the mail. But when I became a Move On activist, I went to training in Indiana from Ohio, and one of the, what do you call it? One of the methods they taught us was bird dogging, which was when we have a strong opinion and we think we're right on an issue, we're supposed to go up and talk to a person of opposing beliefs about it and possibly even talk down to them. And that was where I was having some trouble. For instance, with Trump, who's a Republican, a person made a statement that perhaps he was the worst president we've had in the United States, and they accused Harris, who's a Democrat, of maybe being a socialist. So I thought I would say that what's really important is that we all want America to thrive. Could we not just show respect to each other while we discuss it, and then just look at facts? Because the economy, I compared it to how it was in 2022 here, and the USA debt, this is under Democratic rule, is now $35 trillion, which is the highest we've had since World War II. There are 7 million unemployed, and the homeless rate is increasing. In 2022, it was 582,000. Now it's 590,000. The unemployed was 6 million, and the debt was 24 trillion. So we have that, and then we have the income that we receive, which is based on inventions and products that are selling that make our nation strong, and that is 29 trillion. So if you subtract it, we're still minus $6 trillion. Definitely we need a wise leader. We need to make sure we have a strong military leader so that there's not any further debt and that things just continue to improve. The issues, of course, Harris is for abortion being a woman's right to decide, not the government controlling it. Trump is against abortion being practiced. Then it spoke about taxes. Harris wants to give cuts to families. She's for the middle class and is going to give a child tax credit of $6,000 for new parents. Some of those benefits are expiring in 2025. Trump pulled money from large corporations, so 21%. It was the largest tax overhaul in 3 decades, and another achievement he made was improving the employment. In 2017, I have to find it, the employment rate increased by 2 million under his leadership. As far as wealth, I did mention Harris being for the middle class, and Trump wants to, tax imports. So he's talking about other countries will pay the United States. And then another concern is Jewish people. Harris supports Israel. Trump appeared to be that way also, and said that he thought maybe even Israel should hit Iran. Iran sent 180 missiles to Israel. And then, let me make sure I covered everything I wanted to. And to mention that there's been some deaths, Muslim ones. In September 20th, the exact day was the 27th of 2024, Hassan Nasrallah died. His name spelled Nasrallah. He was Hezbollah. And he was assassinated. The reason for that, both these deaths are related to philosophies of opposing Israel and removing the United States from the Middle East. So the other one was Ismail, Haniyeh. He died in July of 2024. He was from Moss. He was assassinated also during an airstrike. His bodyguard also died, and 60 members of his family, so it's quite a big loss. He was the Prime Minister of Palestine. Of course, all lives are valuable. God doesn't require more of us or any soul than it can deal with. All good is for its own benefit, and evil its own loss. O Allah, do not punish us or place any burden on us past what we can bear. Please pardon us, have mercy, and as a guardian, grant us victory over all disbelieving people.